As a kid, when I was 3 years old, my mom enrolled me in ballet classes, and so I was a serious dancer, and I did cross country and played soccer and was a skier up until I was about 14. When I was 14, I had an injury that doctors were unable to diagnose correctly, so I lived with chronic pain for 2 years until I came to Portland. Those 2 years were really difficult. Being in middle school and not being able to run cross country or play soccer was really sad, especially since I had grown up being really active. I coped with watching Grey's Anatomy. I watched a lot of Grey's Anatomy, and I think that it forced me to develop a sense of self outside of sports and outside of just moving and dance, which had been my whole life and had taken up the majority of my time up until the 2 years happened. I think that since I was 14, 15, I wasn't able to see that this could be a lifelong thing, even though I was getting these diagnoses, which are lifelong. I wasn't really concerned about that. I did definitely feel hopeless, and it was really difficult to go to all of these different doctors that kept being wrong for one reason or another. I came to Portland thinking I was going to be an inpatient dealing with chronic pain, where it's a brain disorder. Your body gets stuck in a pain loop and you have an original injury that your body is unable to heal. And so the only way to heal the injury is to heal your mind. It's really intensive physical therapy and music therapy, and it was going to take up a lot of time. I went to get the evaluation done, and they were like, hey, you do not have this, and they sent me to another orthopedic doctor, and I'd been to so many ortho doctors, and the doctor who I went to actually had a history of working with dancers, and he looked at my feet and put me in an orthopedic boot. So I had to wear a knee-high orthopedic boot on my right leg, and then my left leg, and then my right leg again for 8 months, my freshman year of high school. And then when I got out of the boots, I was able to join my high school tennis team. I chose to play tennis my spring of my freshman year because I wasn't able to do track, and I had been in cross country in middle school, and I'd always loved to run, and so it seemed the natural sport to pick. But since I wasn't able to run and I'd never played tennis before, I didn't know that tennis required running. So I just joined tennis, and luckily, since I was bottom of the team, I didn't run very much, and I was able to play, and I loved the team, and did it my sophomore year too when I was fully recovered. I love tennis because I'm able to wear shoes, which is essential for supporting my really bad arches. I love tennis because I've always loved the girls I've been on the teams with, and I'm really lucky to have always had coaches who were really just excited to develop my game, as opposed to, and they've never focused on winning. And that's very relaxing, and I don't miss the discipline that dance required. Dance was really, you had to look a certain way and be a certain way and perform a certain way. And tennis just doesn't feel like that. It feels like I have freedom. My mom suggested it junior year, and she talked to my high school tennis coach. My mom was like, hey, do you think you would be able to play college tennis? And I said no, because I just had started tennis my freshman year, and sophomore year I played tennis, but then junior year was COVID, so I hadn't played, but I agreed to meet with the coaches while we were doing our college tours, and I loved Jimmy. The thing that was most appealing about Jimmy and Lewis and Clark Tennis was Jimmy's focus on having a big team that worked on developing players and worked on forming a sense of community, and he never, ever mentioned winning, ever. He was just excited by my excitement and talked about how he'd like to have me on the team because I was enthusiastic, and that's perfect. That's perfect for me. I would never have imagined that I would play college tennis. I figured that when I finally got better, I would be able to put on point shoes and twirl around in a tutu, or put on my running shoes and run a 5K. I never thought I'd be putting on a tennis skirt and hitting tennis balls at college.